Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where we almost came out of our deficit last episode, but now we're basically right back to where we were at the beginning of last episode, which is exciting, for sure. A lot of that is due to our interest, to be fair. And it also bears noting that this just recalculated and cut in half, so that's nice. Okay. Fantastic. So we're continuing our investment here, and a lot of these investments are actually our power plants. We're working on our infrastructure fairly heavily right now. So that's a big part of the reason why this is so expensive, is because we're making expensive infrastructure that's likely going to be largely unprofitable once we get it done. But that's okay. We're going to need it for other things. So that'll be good. We have a decent input goods shortage with electricity and engines. Both of those we are working on expanding. So that'll be a while before these power plants finish up, actually. Quite a while indeed. These glassworks in 2 weeks. That looks great. And I want to check in on Austria real quick. Okay. Oh, hey, modern nursing. Sure. We can do something with that in a moment. But what I really wanted to check in here, I think we're catching up on the battalions. Our GDP is wildly above theirs at this point now. So that is fantastic. But let's hop into our buildings here. I believe it's under development that we can swap over now. There might be something in here as well. Well, let's just see. No. Okay, looks good. So zooming right on back in here, that was a little bit... It's always slightly laggy when transitioning between these views. I don't know. I feel like that's an optimization that Paradox can work on. Maybe in the next patch. I don't know. Hopefully. It's almost like it has to load it off of the drive or something. It has to load those assets off of the drive. Organized Sports has been unlocked. Okay, cool. That's completely okay. We're going to have our power plants done here in about 7 weeks. But hey, our deficit is gone. That's beautiful. So we're now starting to pay down our credits, which means that our interest costs will start to reduce as well. Now, we are still paying a huge amount for our goods for military buildings, artillery, opium, ammunition, small arms, fabric, man-o'-wars. All of these things are, well, not really man-o'-wars so much, but all of the rest are quite expensive, particularly the artillery and opium. Noted. Okay, well, we're going to be finishing up our power plants soon enough. We still have that electricity input shortage, but that is because power plants take a while to build. But those are going to be finishing up very shortly here. There's one of them done. And now we're going to get the other 4 done, not all at once, but pretty close to it. Yeah, we've got another level finishing up this week. And then one next week. Yeah, that all looks completely fine. Cool. And we're running a surplus. That is exactly what we want to see right now. So with this surplus being run, that is great. Our credit is going to drop, but not by a lot, with this being our weekly balance. It's not going to drop by a whole lot, but it will start to drop. I'm hoping these subsidies drop off a little bit too. We're primarily subsidizing railway, if that makes sense. A little bit on the motor industries. Sure, what is this? Despite not enjoying full rights under Prussian law, some wealthier Ashkenazi people have been moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. If we want our children to have a future, this is where we should raise them, he said. I want them to live somewhere safe. She crossed her arms. Have you seen the looks we get? When people talk about safe, they don't mean safe for us. They mean safe from us. So we can either do enforced segregation or erode segregation. And we have a lot of radicals right now, and it's going up. I don't want to get more radicals. So this would reduce our interest group approval from the petite bourgeoisie, but that's probably fine. And we still have an electricity input goods shortage for the moment, but I don't expect that to be too much of one. Well, actually, 899 buy orders. And each of these levels is doing how much? 200. Okay. So as that comes online, that will likely get close. I think we're going to need more electricity. But for the moment, we'll let that be. It will take time for these power plants to come online, of course. So if we look at the buildings here, we can see 79% employed, and the cash reserves are going up. So it will automatically expand as well. Okay. What are we looking at here? 729. And that's currently hiring. Got it. Okay, well, we'll just let that be for now. We probably want to also start up some power plants out over this way, I'm thinking. So if we were to do that, let's hop into the industry here and build power plants somewhere like North Rhine. And I'm going to leave those at the bottom of the construction queue for now. We'll get to them quite soon. So that'll be fine. And with that being started, then we'll just be able to allow those to auto-expand, in theory. That should be okay. These railways and coal mines are going to be finishing up eventually, but look at this. We're now at 20.8 positive. I love it. That's going really, really well. Only 126k for our construction goods. Our interest hasn't dropped dramatically yet, nor have our subsidies. I don't really expect our subsidies to drop too much. But for the moment, we'll just let that be. Okay, so what else do we have that's expensive right now? Wood and fabric. Opium, fabric, and artillery. Cool. Well, we are currently making a textile mill. That produces clothes, but consumes fabric. Wait, so what produces fabric then? Livestock ranches, cotton plantations, gotcha. So we do have some livestock ranches here. Okay. Sounds good. If the price on that comes up too high, then our livestock ranches should get automatically expanded. In theory. In theory. So we're going to get these power plants built in North Rhine. And that should help our electricity inputs goods shortage. We have a pretty major silk shortage, though, and we're just never, ever, ever going to be able to produce that with our current tech. So we can get a couple of those trade routes going. Looks decent. Now, opium is still very expensive for us. We're not a significant producer for obvious reasons. We're going to grab the Russian market here. Not that we're happy about that necessarily, but we'll import some. I don't want to import artillery. Artillery we can produce. We're already the #1 producer worldwide of artillery. So that'll be fine for now. And as far as our GDP goes, we now have the #2 worldwide GDP per capita. That's insane. Followed by Krakow. Sure, and we're #4 in the overall GDP, which, when you look at our overall population of 17.3 million, compare that to Great Britain's population of 35.7 million, I mean, that's pretty good, considering that we are nipping at their heels at this moment. France's population, 41 million. China's population, 350 million. Like, our per capita is so much better. We're just a smaller nation, and that's fine. So we're now chipping away at our credit. That's exactly what we want. It's getting to the point where we can think about expanding our construction, potentially. We can definitely think about that. Indeed we can. I mean, the revenue isn't good. I'm not going to right now. I think we're fine with our current construction speed, I'm quite comfortable with how much we're building right now, to be honest. And I would love to pay down this credit for a little bit here. We still are rocking an unhealthy economy. We still have low market access in Silesia as well. So I would absolutely love to expand that railway. We'll get that going. And that would have automatically expanded eventually. But for the time being, that'll be fine. And yeah, our trade route importing opium from the Russian market is unproductive. And I'm not surprised about that one. Not surprised at all. We do have an opium input goods shortage. It's produced in opium plantations, which, can we even build those in Prussia? The tooltip went away. Fantastic. Let's pin this open, and let's see what we need. Requires enclosure. There are no opium plantations here. I think we can't build them here. I suspect it just simply doesn't grow in this climate. I believe that's correct. Hey, dynamite unlocked. That is solid. So we're going to go for the open hearth process next. And let's go through. That should be quite a number of new productions that we can enable here. So let's see here. Specifically for the rural areas, but let's just go through here. Yep, we can... We can't actually go to the nitrogen fixation process here, but we can go down to vacuum evaporation for our chemical plants. Sounds good. Our munition plants can work on explosive shells now. What else do we have? Well, all of our mines can use dynamite. I don't believe our farms want to use dynamite necessarily, but... Okay, I'm just wondering what exactly the difference is here. And what we're on right now. They vary in the harvesting production methods. Got it. So for our coal mines, we're definitely going to move to dynamite. For our iron mines, dynamite. For our lead mines, dynamite. For our sulfur mines, dynamite. And I do want to make sure that these are all doing something like this. So actually, let's go through, and for all of these that are varying, let's make them no longer vary. Let's make all of these be something like this. Now, this is probably going to cost us quite a bit to shift over all of our production methods. I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure that none of these are varying and that they're all on the highest rank that we can get them on. Paper bleaching wasn't active. Okay, that's exciting. Let's see. That should all be good there. The Bessemer process, water tube boilers, water tube boilers. For the arms industries, we can do repeating rifles, smooth bores. Cool. Market squares. Yeah, that should all be okay. Cool. Now in the rural areas, let's make sure that none of these are varying. Okay, harvesting tools seems okay for the moment. The steam donkey, yes. I wanted to change that. There we go. And again, this will probably take quite a while to shift all that over. So for our barracks, we will have skirmish infantry. Are those just better? I think it's just better going down the line. I'd have to investigate that and do an in-depth stat comparison. For right now, I'm not too concerned about that. We're just going to go straight on down that line. Cool. And then for our construction, of course, we are on iron frame buildings. Okay, so that should get everything onto... Oh, not government administration there. Standardized filing system. There we go. That should get everything onto identical processes. Central Archives was successfully completed. Oh, okay. The use of filing cabinets in the government administration has drastically increased the effectiveness of state bureaucracy. I love bureaucracy. It's great. Yes. Cool. Bureaucracy is amazing. Standard of living decreased in Anhalt. That's interesting. And what is driving that? there's a lot of taxes. Fair enough. There are a lot of taxes. That said, we're getting to the point where we can argue... We're getting to the point where we can argue that reducing our taxation might make sense. I don't think we're quite there yet. What was that tech we just got? I don't actually remember. I just remember that we got a tech. I guess we'll look through this, because I was busy thinking about taxation. But we can look through this and see if there's any that needs to be upgraded, just real quick. I don't see any there, so that'll be fine. Yep, unused construction production right now, and we do have some states in turmoil. We do need to drop our taxation at some point. The question is when, and I think after we get these power plants built, there's a good argument for that. We do definitely still need more electricity, and these power plants will help a lot with that. So we're starting to finish those up. We're also going to be fully, like, no longer peasant soon. In terms of our demographics, we're definitely running low on peasants. It's mostly our peasants that have the low standard of living. At 12.4. Everybody else is doing pretty well. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to be finishing up these power plants this week. This is going to be our final power plant construction. I'm expecting our income to improve somewhat here. The question is by how much? Okay, 15k. That's not too bad. Well, we need to continue to pay down our debt. Right? That's our primary goal at this point, is paying that down. Hello. A defamatory argument, huh? A newspaper called the Pomerania Sentinel has printed a bigoted article about the Ashkenazi people living there. We can suppress the article, or we can let it be released. So, minus 5% authority. We have plenty of authority. So we'll go ahead and suppress that. Cool. We can enact a presidential republic. It's supported by 2 interest groups. Fascinating. We could go that route. That is a route that we could go. For the moment, I'm not going to go that route. After all, we're now the #1 GDP per capita worldwide. I'm noticing that our GDP started to fall off a little bit here. And I think that's because we spent quite a bit of time investing in infrastructure rather than things that are going to be, you know, just incredibly valuable. Each level of these does not feel like it's producing 200. I'll be honest. We are the #1 producer of electricity worldwide. Is this employed yet? Okay. It is. Its productivity is doing pretty well. So it's actually producing 250 total. Not 200 per level. It's 50 per level. That makes a lot more sense. So the cash reserves here are building up. Okay. What are we building right now? We're building textile mills, tooling workshops, chemical plants, coal mines. That all seems reasonably fine. Reasonably fine indeed, but we can see that we have started to scoop our way back up with our credit here. That's great. We're down below 13 million in debt. And our interest costs have dropped by almost 1,000 per week already. That's great. Really happy to see that. We are going to continue our constructions for a while, though. My question is, when will we start running out of things to auto-construct? Because one of the major aspects of auto-construction is that it only occurs when the cash reserves are full. There's a lot of these with full cash reserves. Noted. Booming Industries has been successfully completed. That's cool. And Expand Power Plants has been successfully completed as well. With the recent expansion in both the production and consumption of explosives in our country, there's been much debate on whether the military or industrial sector should have priority. Why should we worry about how much dirt we can move when we could be thinking about how to defend our country? All you care about is starting more wars. We should put this to use for our workers instead. They are more important. We should try to support both. Plus 33% chemical plants building throughput. Or building mines or building munition plants. We'll try to support both. I think that'll be fine for the time being. Okay, so we have low market access in North Rhine and in Brandenburg. So we definitely need to do something about that. So that is over here and over here. Fantastic. We'll get that queued up, although I'm not too concerned about having that be right away. The recent expansion of the power plants in Silesia has inspired faith in a future where all of Prussia is electrified. Trapping the power of the roaring rivers and waterfalls by transforming it to the power of a thunderstorm must be a sign that we are approaching the final stage of man's mastery of nature. Are we ready? Morally? Intellectually? Spiritually? It matters not. It is coming. It is coming. That is true. Unlimited power would be nice. Steam turbines and shift work. Unlimited power. Beautiful. We have a pretty big electricity, not really deficit so much anymore. Well, actually, how is that doing? We need to look in the market. Is electricity in this? Not directly seeing electricity here. Okay, I don't care about that. Let's go into here. There we go. And look at our electricity. So it's a non-tradable good. There's still a lot more demand than there is supply. So that throughput is going to be fine for the time being. That'll be good. We're working on those railways. I would like to start dropping taxes soon. I'd like to drop down to medium taxes. There's no way we can afford that at our current rate of construction, right? This trade agreement with Russia sounds good. Let's go ahead and do that. Fantastic. And our number of radicals is actually trending slightly downward, with our loyalists trending slightly upward. So that's great. We have now overtaken Great Britain in GDP. That is beautiful. That's the power of that deficit spending there. And now that we've turned the corner on the deficit spending, things are just going to get better from here. So we're completely okay with all of our constructions at this moment. Assuming that we continue to be positive, that we're running a surplus in our budget. That's what we want right now. And the question is, how long can we get away with this? Well, eventually we're going to run out of employees. That's definitely going to be a thing. Our number of peasants and unemployed is dropping. No doubt about that. But maybe we'll be able to get a bunch of immigration. That wouldn't be a terrible thing, necessarily. More people to run the factories sounds good. Enact poor laws. Ah, so this is a social security program. Gives us some bureaucracy cost, but it doesn't cost actual money. Honestly, I think we should do this. This should improve our standard of living pretty dramatically, I think. Done. We're going to get that going. If that costed us too much money, I wouldn't do it. But as it is... Oh, actually, with this amount of income... Here's the question. Do we drop taxes now? Or, hypothetically, do we use this money to pay down the credit faster so that our interest payments are lower, faster, so we can drop our taxation levels more later. I feel like this money should go towards paying off our creditors. We're paying 19.2k in interest per month right now, or rather per week right now. I keep forgetting that this game is per week, but we're paying quite a bit per week right now, and that's definitely not a thing that I want to do. It is, however, time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, that's a question that we can struggle with. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, JJ Gamer, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, Atala, Shadowwolf, Jensgram, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Kadra, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.